Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, checking the mic, 1, 2, 2. Help. Hello? Testing, 1, 2, 3, checking the mic, 1, 2, testing, help. We seem to have started off today's stream with some kind of technical problem wherein the internet signal was very poor. Butt Smasher Masher says, "Hi, Henry." Hi, right back to you, Butt Smasher Masher. Thanks for joining us today. Maui Girl says, "I wish I could hear Henry." Uh-oh. Do you not hear me? Can you not hear me or nor see me? Parasitosis says, "I hear you." Butt Smasher Masher can hear me. It's Kate X says, "We can." So why does Maui Girl say that she wishes she could hear me? It's Me Defective says, "Hey, Henry, would you rather have slow internet or no internet at all?" I'd probably say no internet at all, because slow internet is just sort of it's like water torture. It's like a tease or something. It's taunting. Official Shitter says, "I can hear." Yeah, we know you can hear, but can you hear me? Saguaro Oo says, "Phew, I can see and hear now." Okay. We're going to wait for a few more viewers. There were some viewers that says, well, the internet sucks here. I'm not going to stick around and waste my Sunday. And I don't blame them. But maybe they're hearing from secondary sources that I'm back on and that Henry's Kitchen, because, okay, we've broken 100 at this point, so that's good. So we just need a couple more viewers to come back. Windhuffer says, "Do people ever call you Hank? Hank?" Well, yeah, I think someone just did, if I'm not mistaken. Or unless you mean, do people ever call me Hank Hank? In which case, no. But yeah, no, I have plenty of good friends that have called me Hank. DPalm258 says, "Maybe she was involved in a horrible accident." Who's she? Butt Smasher Masher says, "Hawaii technical difficulty." Oh, talking about Maui Girl. No, I hope not. We've got pictures from Maui Girl, and I like this picture in the back. This one's beautiful. I'll tell you a little bit about it. So we're going to wait for a few of the users to join in with us because we still have low viewership for a Sunday. So I'm going to hold off on the quality content until there's more viewers. In the meantime, I'm just going to do some kind of lame filler type shit. And by lame filler type shit, I mean stuff that's really entertaining. Like, for example, this picture was submitted to us by our very own Melanie. And Melanie says this is a grocery store parking lot. Can you believe how beautiful this picture is for something as simple as a grocery store parking lot? But that's the thing. Melanie has what's called the eye. Anybody can take a picture of something beautiful, like, a cliff with water rolling down it, or I don't know, it's something beautiful, a beautiful person, I don't know. But to be in a grocery store parking lot, the most mundane of all places, and to just see a moment and say, wow, there are some striking artistic qualities happening in the sky right now. I'm going to capture it with my device. That's called the eye. So, Melanie, thanks for sharing your talent with us, because this is really beautiful. I feel like using it as a background all day because I don't really have... I live in a place that's much more congested. This looks like it's more rural. Am I right about that? The Chunks says, "A plastic bag caught in the wind." Yeah, that sounds nice. Nancy Droodles, is she a cyclops? No, I don't mean the eye in that she only has one eye. I mean the eye, the artistic eye. Parasitosis says, "I have the evil eye." Yeah, we're getting off a little bit here. Master Cookie the Third says, "Hello, Henry. I had a bit too many rums with Coke yesterday. That's fine. Today my stomach really hurts. Any advice?" You know what's good is carbonated beverages are good to settle the stomach. If you have any Coke, and also historically alcohol has been known to kill stomach viruses, or at least to inebriate them. So I would probably say maybe have another rum and Coke. That's also known as the hair of the dog philosophy. Okay. Gumme Cande says, "The color of the sky is so beautiful." It really is. Donnie Wahlberg says, "You're going to want to drink an entire jumbo-sized jar of pickle juice." Okay, you're talking to Master Cookie the Third about what to do about their stomach hurting. Okay, and you know what's really good is a pickle juice with a Jameson shot. If you're into alcohol, that's called a pickleback, popularized by Justin Timberlake, I think, according to legend. Maui Girl 45 says ginger. Okay, referring to... So there's a lot of remedies being offered up. I can't vouch for any of them. Dooza says, "My birthday is tomorrow, and I forgot to request a birthday song in Discord." Well, let's go ahead and do a birthday song for you. Let's put on the reverb, because we're going to need it anyway for our musical portion. Let's see if we can find a festive background. This is a beautiful background. Thank you, Melanie, for sharing the eye. Let's use this one from JV's Tech. Looks like maybe a gym. Oh, that's right. JV's Tech is participating in some type of MMA fight or something like that. And we wish him all the luck in the world. Thank God it's not me. I would end up literally dead. But JV's Tech, we feel like you're a little bit more experienced in that department, or at least hopefully you are, because you volunteered to do this, I believe. Last time I checked, they don't make you do this as part of some community service or something. Okay, birthday song going out to our very own Dooza. Dooza, are you from the Midwest or from the Northeast? I know it's one of those. Or are you from the Northwest? It's nobody's birthday. No need for candles on the cake. It's nobody's birthday. It was just some big mistake. It's nobody's birthday. No need to make a big giant festive to-dos, 'cause it's nobody's birthday but Dooza. Happy birthday to Dooza. I came up with that rhyme right on the spot there. That's why it wasn't very good. But happy birthday to you. Digitize says, "Stay safe in the Middle East." No, I think he's in the Middle West of the Americas. Well, this is cool. Thanks, JV's Tech, for this cool background. We're going to go, while I have the guitar. Oh, I want to make an announcement to some of the folks out there. JV's Tech says, "MMA made me realize I'm a specific type of masochist once I started." Yeah. That definitely sounds a little masochistic. All right, everybody. So the Jose Suicidio album is in the works. There are many completed tracks. There's one that Jose listened to that was actually recorded several years ago and was going to be polished up, but Jose finally, in a fit of rage, just said, "I hate it," and said he was just going to start the song all over from scratch and recreate what he already did, since it will be the opening and title track of the album. So that's delaying it a little bit, and there's also some solution has to be made about getting a live recording at the end. It might have to be a studio recording. There's a couple of things in the works, and it will be on vinyl. Yes, Bielsby. But one thing that's very exciting is that we all know that a lot of royalty money comes in from films nowadays. You know, the CD sales, album sales, etc., have really shit the fan or whatever, shit the bed, hit the fan, whatever. The shit has hit the proverbial fan in terms of sales. The bottom dropped out of the shit fan. But either way, what's happening now is that people are selling their music to movies, and major movies are paying big money for publishing. And Jose Suicidio was lucky enough to get one of his signature songs into a movie that just won at least one Academy Award for Best Cinematography. It might have won some others also. And Best Actor. So this is the movie Sinners. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Sinners. It's a great movie. And there's one scene that beautifully uses Jose Suicidio's song, Rovin' in the Bog. I'm going to play that for you now.
Shave my belly with a rusty knife when I wake up in the morning. A bottle of rum and a fancy jig, and the road rise up to meet you. Just put another shrimp on the Barbie friend, and I'll be there to greet you. Row, ho, diddle-ye, fancy free on the bonny bog. Whack all day in the valley, oh, and I go home in the morning. Row, ho, skilly-doo, a misty, musty morning friend, skittering about with a drunken whore, and I go home in the morning. Rolling on down to the bonny green with a bottle of Tullamore, do ya? Gallivanting far and wide and shouting top of the morning to ya. Row, ho, diddle-ye, whack the foal with a daddy-o, and a shin in a bucket with a drunken whore, and I go home in the morning. Row, ho, diddle-ye, misty Mountain Dew, my friend, shave my willy with a rusty knife, and I wake up in the morning.
Anyway, I thought that was that's going to be very lucrative for Jose Suicidio to have his song literally underscoring the vampires. Uh-oh, what happened to my screen here? Uh-oh. Hey, do you guys hear me? Can you see me? What's happening now? Hello? Check. Fuck. All right. Not sure exactly what has happened here. I'm going to try to fix it. Once it goes underneath like that, it's very difficult to get back into frame. Okay, I think it's something like that. Do you hear me and see me okay? Is this working on a technical level? Check. Okay, I'm getting people saying, holy shit, he's a ghost. Nancy Droodle says yes. Okay, good. Well, we have some songs to do. Thanks, JB's Tech, for sharing us your experiences of being an MMA fighter. It's very exciting. Parasitosis says, Jose should make hold music. That's where the real royalty money's at now. People on hold is at a record high. Interesting. Yeah, that's a really good idea. If we could get can we get somebody, maybe one of our tech team, to figure out how you get your music on hold for things like customer service for your insurance company or something. Let's see if we can go ahead and do that. That would be great. Okay. Dark Ages, I think it's on autofocus, so I don't really know if there's much I can do about that. This is supposed to autofocus, but I imagine it's probably difficult. Let's see. Hammy X Hams sends a picture of his isolated system ecosystem terrarium jars. Hammy X Ham is either trying to woo a lover or trying to prepare for the post-apocalypse, either way, it's very handy to have an eco-terrarium self-isolated system jar. And I think that's what's happening. So if there is going to be some type of... Dazzlecat asks if there's a unicellular dinoflagellate algae in there. Dinoflagellate. Computer, how do you pronounce dinoflagellate?
I pronounce that dinoflagellate, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.
Computer, volume 10. Okay, I think 30 years ago when I wrote it in a song, Sweet Little Blossom, I think I pronounced it correctly. I hope I did. We didn't have computers and all that stuff to fact check it against. Maybe I'll use this as our background for our song here. We have a song that was requested by Nancy Droodles. This is a really cool song. It's by Johnny Rivers. It's called Secret Agent Man, and it starts out with something very similar to the James Bond music, and it's about a secret agent man. And I want to tell you a little bit more trivia that I was reading about this. Wait, first I want to go to my alerts here. It looks like we've got Anonymous just gifted a tier 1 sub to Dino Flatulence. Thank you very much, Anonymous. Dino Flatulence sounds like maybe there's an epidemic of massive farting happening from the dinosaur community. Maybe that's why they made a big crater and eventually went extinct. If so, then we're in trouble here as humans, because that's what's happening now. JV's Tech has cheered 46 bits. Thank you, JV's Tech. And Brought You By has subscribed at the tier 1 level and says, absolutely can't wait for the new Jose Suicidio album. Me too, Brought You By. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass that on to Suicidio. And Fidget Hat says this one goes to 11, 4 times, 44 months. Thank you, Fidget Hat, for your subscription for such a long period of time. You have a lot of confidence in this stream, and I appreciate that. And thanks for all the contributions that you make. Glitchy Med says, how does one get into terrariums? Is there a terrarium for dummies? That's a question for Hammy X Hams. Tejoker1478 says, is that an image of a river bison in the background? No, this is just terrariums. But I know you're referring to the reverb being on, but that's okay because we're about to do a song. So this is straight from the trivia that I found online about Johnny Rivers, the guy who wrote The Secret Agent Man. It was never featured as a James Bond movie theme song, but that was the intent. Johnny Rivers really wanted this to be a theme song, so he wrote this song, Secret Agent Man, and even had a little hint to the theme of the James Bond. And he sent his demo of the song to the movie studios, trying to get them to use it in the movie, and they never did. And every time there was a new movie, he would push it again and say, hey, I'm just saying, Secret Agent Man is up there for the taking if you want to use this for your new James Bond movie. He didn't even know what the new movie was going to be about. But eventually they had a restraining order taken out on Mr. Rivers because it was bothering him. So apparently one time he showed up when they were making, I think it was View to a Kill, the Duran Duran song, before they chose which song. Johnny Rivers showed up to the parking lot of the movie studio and started blasting Secret Agent Man out of his car. And he had some kind of a fake mustache to disguise him. And he yelled, hey, I'm totally not Johnny Rivers, but have you heard this song, Secret Agent Man? It's perfect for one of your Bond movies, I think. And they saw right through his disguise, and they called the police, and he was driven off of the premises. And eventually, he had to change his name, and he changed his name to Geraldo Rivera and became a sort of a shock journalist, whatever that is. But, okay, let's go ahead and do a song by him. This is called Secret Agent Man, and it was requested to us by a user named Nancy Droodles, who I hung out with a lot on this recent trip, Chicago. After the show, we all hung out at the Tiki Bar, Pete's, right by the Rosemont Zanies, and just had a good old time. That was a lot of fun. And I got this apron from the users. So many great people that night. It was a lot of fun. All right, here we go. Secret Agent Man. Sorry, I got distracted. Stuart wanted to know, why would Geraldo Rivera need a fake mustache? He needed it to disguise himself after the name change. Okay. There's, the problem I think is this is too low, maybe. There's a man who leads a life of danger. To everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes, another chance he takes, odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and taken away your name. Beware of pretty feces that you find, or faces that you find, sorry. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. Ah, be careful what you say, or you'll give yourself away. Odds are you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and they've taken away your name. Doesn't it sound like it would rhyme? Like with man? I thought they were going to say, and they've taken away your land. That would be cool. That would make sense. Instrumental. Not coincidentally, very similar to the James Bond theme by, who was that? Jerry Goldsmith? Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and taken away your land. Swinging on the Riviera one day, Geraldo Rivera, and laying on the Bombay alley next day. Oh no, you let the wrong word slip while kissing persuasive lips. The odds are you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and they've taken away your fan. They've given you a number and they've taken away your can. There you have it. Secret Agent Man by Johnny Rivers, currently known as Geraldo Rivera with his fake mustache. Sociopathogen says, it's like a cowboy song for the CIA. Yeah, it really is. Angry Penguin 922 says, Hank likes it shaken, not stirred. Yeah. Thanks, Pug Lady, for the clap, and Neat. Awesome job, Henry. Thanks, Neat. Sociopathogen, Old Pineapple. Thanks, everybody. Nancy Droodles, thanks for the request. Maui Girl says, wow, that was great. I love the feces part. Yeah, that was a mistake. My eyes don't work nearly as well as they used to, and I thought it said feces, which wouldn't have made sense. It was faces was the word. Desolate Reality says, Henry, if you were any cuter, you'd be me. Well, thank you, Desolate Reality. That's a very nice thing to say. Androphyte says, couldn't he just grow a real mustache? No. There are some people that have I don't know if I would call it a disease, but it's an affliction of some sort that causes great psychological distress where for whatever reason, this area right here is called the fibula, and the hair on certain people genetically just does not grow there. And Geraldo Rivera actually has that. That's why he had to have a fake mustache to complete his disguise, to keep from getting restraining orders from movie studios. Beanie Bobini says, rest in peace, Henry's mustache. Yeah, I did have a mustache. I got mine in Chicago, and it fell off about a week later and probably is floating in the Pacific Ocean somewhere, maybe close to Maui Girl by now. Neat says, music and history and medical expertise, what can't Henry do? That's true. And we're going to be doing some cooking in a little bit too, which is exciting. Our good friend Cat Food Taste Tester, remember, gifted us this stuff called marshmallow flarf. And I looked up other recipes that we can do with it, and we've got a fun one today, so it's going to be nice. Okay, everybody. Official Shitter says, last stream you gave me the go-ahead to shave my head, and I did. It was a good choice. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Official Shitter. That's very nice. Maui Girl says, I think I saw the mustache in the flooded Target. Oh, that's right. You guys had a flood. I hope the mustache didn't cause the flood somehow. Like maybe it pushed over the levee or something. I don't know how that works. Okay, everybody, it's time for us to do another song. We have a request here from our friend Parasitosis, one of our mods and general all-around contributor to what we do here at Henry's Kitchen. And this is a song that was near and dear to my heart as a Gen Xer. This was about 1990. I was playing in a rock and roll band. We had a band, and we did some top 40 songs, and this was a big hit. This is right when something called perestroika was happening. It was the end of the Cold War for all practical purposes. We didn't know that eventually it would sort of come back because of a latent resentment that was happening. And the history of here all sort of depends on who you talk to. But for the moment, when we saw that Berlin Wall coming down and all of the imagery, it really did look like everybody was tired of war, exhausted. They were getting along, and this song was probably written by the CIA, to be honest with you, as a sort of a reinforcement of the good feeling that was happening in America at the time. Nancy Drudel says, Moscow was importing Levi's jeans like crazy. Truth. Yeah, the whole world loves Levi's jeans, except recently. There's been some backlash. Stuart 2199, were you just a singer in a rock and roll band? Yeah, I was. And this song was written by a band called Jesus Jones. Our band was called Jesus Menu or something like that. There was Jesus and Mary Chain. There was a trend in the 90s where if you could get the word Jesus, there was a band called Liquid Jesus, I think. If you could get the word Jesus into your band name, that was going to be a big successful thing. So, for example, computer, give me any random word.
Here is a word, actualizes.
Jesus actualizes. Actually, computer, give me an adjective.
From Albert.io. Good is an adjective.
Okay. Computer, give me a random word that is an adjective.
From Substack.com. An adjective is a word that adds information to a noun
computer,
that the noun
stop.
by itself does not already have.
Computer.
For example,
Computer, give me a random adjective.
wide, feathered, polite, and outrageous
Okay.
are all examples of adjectives.
Okay, Outrageous Jesus would be, for example, a 90s band. That's all I was trying to do with that. But computer, you don't have good comedic timing, unfortunately.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I didn't think you would be. Okay, everybody. Polite Jesus, yeah. Old Pine App, thanks. Feathered Jesus. Yeah, there was a lot of that would happen. Beanie Bo Beanie says, I'm confused. Did you have to shoot your fridge in the Cold War? Shoot your fridge? I don't know. There's a reference there, and I'm not sure what it is. Parasitosis says, I always start names of companies or bands I am part of with AAA because it will be the first in the yellow pages. Yeah, that's called alpha stacking, and that's a very important thing. We had a movie called Punching Henry that was the sequel to the movie Punching the Clown, and we found out that movies that started with an A were first listed, like when you're on the plane, for example, there's A to Z, movies A to Z. So if you can get it first, it's a race to get your name first. So we didn't do it, but I wanted to call it And Punching the Clown, but spelled with 3 A's, And Punching the Clown. But then somebody else is just going to do 4 A's, and then you get in an A war. Pirate Wookie says, can you play Right Here, Right Now by Jesus Jones? Excellent request, and as a matter of fact, that's exactly the song that we were just going to do that Parasitosis requested. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me just find a good background. Why don't we want something uplifting for this. Why don't we use this? This was Nancy Drudels gave us this picture of what appears to be an advertisement for gyros. Computer, how do you pronounce gyros?
I pronounce that gyros, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.
Okay, so computer might or might not know how to pronounce gyros. But it's not even an advertisement for a specific brand or a specific location or whatever. It's just a general ad for the food item gyros. And that, my friends, is how you sell a product right there. You just get a picture of a really hot looking sandwich and you have somebody eating it right there on the ad and call it gyros. That's how you do it. The Chunks says, I support popularizing gyros. Yeah. I Slap Cat Butt says it's pronounced gyro. Yeah. Nancy Drudel says gyros. Oh, it's gyros. That sounds the best to me. Calicus says, well, why watch the Aurora when you can watch Henry and a gyros ad? That's what I always say. I've been saying that ever since I was a little kid. Okay, everybody. Heroes, Euros. But either way, this is what we're going to do right now. I don't know. This doesn't look great, actually. I want to get a more festive background for this. Thanks, Nancy Drudels, for this ad for gyros or euros or gyros. Maui Girl sends us this picture of... there's a caption here. The late, great island tortie, Angelica. We only had her 9 months before we lost her to the road on this day 3 years ago. Still miss her every day. Yeah. Boy, that's sad. I had a dog named Duke when I was a kid, and it was impossible to keep that guy inside the house. And one day I was coming home from school, and I opened the door, and he scrammed out. Every dog that I've ever had in my life wanted to just hightail it the fuck out of there all the time, and like they hated me or something. And this one went to the main boulevard and was sadly hit by a car. And I think the dog was sort of like, well, this still beats living with that guy. Maui Girl 45 says, I didn't want to let her out, but she really had to be outside to be happy. Yeah, sounds like she was a loner. A road dog, if you will. Maui Girl says, now she's really happy because she no longer has to see my ex. Okay, well, this is getting a little too personal, but we do miss Angelica, and this is a very awesome picture. Okay, let's go ahead, but we want something a little more festive here. Why don't we do... All right, Beanie Bobini gave us a beautiful picture of a sunset in, presumably, Minnesota. But why don't we call it a sunrise? Let's pretend that we're looking to the east and say that it's the sun rising. Because this is about the end of the Cold War. So we want to do something a little more happy. Wait. Oh yeah, that's right. Here, I got to pull up the chords. This is Jesus Jones with their song, written by the CIA, about the wonder of ending the Cold War. Right here, right now. Of course, now the lyrics have been changed to right there, back then. Okay. This is way too low. I'm sorry, everybody. And I feel like I need a pick. All right, I've got everything now. Everything I need. We're starting right now. I played this in a band in the 90s, so I should know it pretty well. It's already passed her by. Bob Dylan didn't have this to sing about. You know it feels good to be alive. I was alive and I waited. I was alive and I waited for this. Right here, right now. There's no other place I'd rather be. Right here, right now. Watching the world wake up from history. I saw the decade end when it seemed the world would change in the blink of an eye. And if anything, there's your fucking song. I was alive and I waited. I was alive and I waited for this. Right here, right now. I was alive and I waited. I was alive and I waited for this. Right here, right now. There is no other place I want to be. I think he's got an English accent, maybe. Right here, right now. Watching the world wake up from history. Right here, right now. There's no other place I want to be. Right here, right now. Watching the world wake up from history. Okay, there's instructions here. It says, play the chorus with English accent till you feel like stopping. Then bring it home with a little D4 D sus2 riff ending on the D. Okay, I think we can do that. Right here, right now. There is no other place I want to be. Right here, right now. Old Pineapple says this is very Boris Johnson. Okay, watching the world wake up from history. There you have it, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Thanks, Parasitosis, for that little trip down memory lane there to a time when at least ostensibly, the Cold War was over. And the West had won. And the 90s was just a big fucking party. It was like just going to bars and listening to grunge music. And the biggest complaint people had was just about, I don't even know, whatever Nirvana was complaining about. But it was just an incredible time. The president was banging his intern, and all was right with the world. And then in about 2000, shit started hitting the fan again. And nothing lasts forever, right? Okay, well, let's go ahead and put the guitar away for now. Because we've got work to do. It's Kate X says, I still go to bars for heavy music. Me too. I'm a big fan. I started going to bars when I was about 20. I had a fake ID. Well, at first I tried to use my brother's ID. And I remember taking it to the bouncer. And he looked at it and looked at me. And I was like... And the guy says, hey, this says that you're 5'11". You're not 5'11". And I was like, oh, well, no, I'm 5'10", but that's my brother's ID, and he's not 5'11" either. He's 5'10". We're the same height. And he's like, get out of here, dude. I wasn't very good at lying at the time. All right, everybody, it's time for us to get to work. Parasitosis says, right here, right now, watching the world wake up for Kitchen of Henry. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. The kitchen's all nice and clean. I will announce this, and I hate this. This really is depressing for me to announce. But this morning at about 8:15 a.m., Sunday morning, 8:15 Pacific time, March 22nd, Sunday, March 22nd, 2026, the year of our Lord. You're right, Maui girl. I opened that cupboard door to get some peanut butter that I was going to put on some toast. And my eyes had hardly woken up yet, but I saw a little something crawling up the cupboard, and when I focused, I realized that it was another fucking German cockroach. It's like the hell nightmare that never ends. It does lead to depression. Computer, do they say that cockroaches lead to depression?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Yeah. So it's going to be back to the drawing board. Roach hotels strategically placed throughout corners. There's going to be sprays. You know, have your bug spray ready. Pour boiling water down the sink every morning and every night with bleach and borax. It's going to have to be that part of the movie that's an hour and 15 minutes where they get a posse together and they decide to kill all the vampires or whatever. A real human being says this is war. It really is. But listen, I beat them before. I beat the fruit fly epidemic of 2024, and that was damn near impossible. That was very difficult. So I've got this. I'm going to beat this. Life's going to life, you know? It's going to throw at you whatever it will. And our job is to respond to it like a badass. And that's what I've decided to do. I'm not giving up. The only reason to ever give up on something is if it gets too hard. And if it hasn't gotten too hard yet, then don't give up. But then once it has, then you definitely want to give up because there'd be no point. All right, Chuck Logan says Henry will be like Kevin Bacon in Tremors. Yeah. Throw it at me. Goat Cheed says life's except that one last time. Yeah. All right. Let's get to work. And the food that I'm going to make today, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to wash all the dishes, get them spick and span, Computer, what does spick and span mean?
According to Wikipedia, Spick and Span is a brand of all-purpose household cleaner marketed by Kit Custom Products Incorporated for home consumer use and by Procter & Gamble for professional use.
I thought it meant clean or something, but I could be wrong. Angry Penguin says river basin. Yes, we've got the reverb is in. Let's turn this off. Checking the mic, 1, 2. Checking the mic. Okay. All right. Sounds good. I think we're ready to get started. Let's take a look at what we are doing today. We're going to be making these. Our good friend Cat Food Taste Tester sent us a northeastern traditional food product called Flarfmellow Marsh or something like that. It's right here. Or Fluffmary Marsh. Let's see here. And we're going to use this to make a quesadilla. And I'm going to be using, we should have the roast beef cam on this. Oh, fuck, it's not working for some reason. Why wouldn't that be working? Waiting for connection. Okay, hold on, everybody. I've got to get this connected. Settings. Output. Network. We're going to do this. Hold on. Why is everything so difficult for me? This is something that we should have working. Hold on. All right, well, we don't have that camera working. I'm going to have to get together with Quanto and we're going to have to figure it out, but that's okay. Ranger 318 says, I think the marshmallow flarf jar burst. Oh, yeah. No, that was just me. Jack Dostal says, these are just close-ups of the marshmallow flarf. Okay. Hold on. I still don't want to give up on this, but I know I have to. Waiting to connect to the client. It should be connected. Okay. This is not the time nor the place. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my regular overhead camera and I'm just going to bring this thing into view. So we're going to do it sort of ghetto, whatever you call it, low budget kind of style. And that's okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the dish. Armorant says never give up, never surrender, like Tim Allen said in Galaxy Quest. Yeah. J-Debs says on brand. Yeah. Parasitosa says, Henry, the Garfield towel on the oven is facing the wrong way. No, I think it's probably just that it's being mirrored. Beanie Bobini says, Henry, you're utilizing your kitchen space. You're absolutely right, and that's what we have to do. Okay, so I pulled up this website. It's called Desert Quesadillas. I guess these are something that you're going to eat in the desert. I don't understand. Perfect, easy follow-up for any Mexican meal. Okay, very easy prep time. Total time's 10 minutes. We've only got 5. All we need is 2 tortillas. I mean, what could go wrong? We've got 5 ingredients, including cooking spray, so that's really just 4. Hotter Biscuit just subscribed. Ooh. Let's go to our alerts. Hotter Biscuit, thank you so much for subscribing. That's very nice of you. I don't think we've seen Hotter Biscuit on here. I sure like biscuits, though. And Anonymous gifted a tier 1 sub to Dino Flatulence. Thank you so much for that gift. Thank you, everybody. Hotter Biscuit says, Henry, my boyfriend and I think you mean boyfriend, BF, and I love you. Thank you for being... Thanks, Hotter Biscuit. Thanks for the subscription. Thanks for joining us. Goat Sheed says, quesadilla can be spicy and filled with dairy products. I would not consume one while exerting my body in the desert. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody know why they call it a desert quesadilla? It doesn't really make sense to me. So, Hotter Biscuit, if you want to see what we're doing here, we are making... Sorry. Okay. Come on now. We had it up. There, we are making this. It's a desert quesadilla made of marshmallow flarf. Armorant just subscribed, giving a sub to you instead of Jose Suicidio. Thank you very much, Armorant. Thank you very much for subscribing to me instead of Jose Suicidio. He's got all the subscribers he'll ever need. Mocha MJ Oak says, desert quesadilla is every quesadilla for me. I live in a desert. Oh, okay. Shardy Fardum official, and thanks for joining us, Shardy Fardum. It says, that's the help screen. Yeah. Okay. Goat Sheed says, something you can eat while riding a horse with no name. Yep. Snisku says, Jose has a ridiculous net worth. I'm sure he can handle fewer subscribers. That's right. Computer, what is Jose Suicidio's annual net worth?
From Kayako.com. Jose is worth $4.5 million.
Yeah, and I said annual too, so that means every year he's worth $4.5 million. Angry Penguin says, can we go back to hell again, Henry? We're about to.
Delicious.
What the fuck? Shirley's Newt just donated 1,000 bits. Just completely gifted us cheered 1,000 bits. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Shirley's Newt. Very kind of you. All right. Okay, everybody. It's time to get to work. So we are making desert quesadillas. Number 1, we're going to prepare a large skillet. Now, I've got something better than a skillet. This is a grill pan. This thing is going to be the hardest working item in your kitchen. As you can see, when I bought it, it was silver, but it's black because of all the use. It's got all the particles of everything I've ever cooked on there. So we're going to turn on our infrared stove right here. I'm going to back off on this a little bit. And we want to spray it with cooking spray. I just found some spray right here. Whoa, that stuff smells pungent. What is this? Ah, fuck. I think I might have put bug spray on our grill pan. But this particular one actually I think is good. It says, safe for use around children and pets, contains natural plant oils, natural citrus mint scent. Okay, so it kills roaches somehow, but it doesn't harm humans, I guess. I don't know. Nicola Yuri says that I think you're fine. Jack Dostal, or some extra vodka in the pan, and then that should clean it right up. I don't know if I have vodka. Neat. That'll cook off. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I can smell it cooking off already. Fuhart says, ask computer for advice.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Nah, computer's worthless. The Chunks says, extra vodka, is that some kind of riddle? I don't know, but there's a great song by George Gershwin. I think it's called, I think it's by George Gershwin. Vodka. Makes me feel oddka, I think was one of the lyrics. Has anyone told you you have a hot vodka? Shirley's Newt says, just use the tortilla straight on the burner. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Fitchin' Hat says, Rhapsody in Blue Balls. Yeah, that was the original title. I think they changed it because it gave a connotation. Parasitosis says, Henry, who is your pick to win the steel ball run race? Mine is Gyro Zeppelin. That's a great name for a steel ball competitor. Hey, we've got an alert here. It says here, well, for one thing, the Chunks just donated 100 bits. Thank you, the Chunks. And said, just wanted to get on the hype train. Thank you for getting on the hype train. And Saguaro Ooh has gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Amazing. Thank you, Saguaro Ooh. We're going to get there to the American Southwest one of these days. I promise. I want to go to Tucson or Albuquerque or Sedona or Phoenix or something. And I want to do a show there because... And Jaffe, I want to see Jaffe out there. Fitchin' Hat. We have so many users down there. Wow. Saguaro Ooh, thank you. Nancy Drudels cheered 100 bits. And Stuart2199 just gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much for that, Stuart219. If anybody's keeping track, we're at 295 subscribers. So we're sitting right around that 300 area. I want to thank you so much for that. For your generosity, for gifting those subs. And Maui Girl says Taos. Ooh, that would be interesting, but I don't know if I can get enough people up to Taos. I usually have to play at least somewhere near a metropolis of some sort. That's why I'm thinking Tucson or Phoenix or Albuquerque. Another alert just came down the pike. 4-wheelers just subscribed for 38 months. Thank you, 4-wheelers. Okay. All right, everybody. We've got this going on now. It's time for us to get to work. What the fuck? Shirley's Newt just gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Too kind of you. Thank you, Shirley's Newt. That's very kind of you. Stuart2199. Henry plays Red Rock? Maybe so. We could probably get 80 people there. How many does it hold? Computer, how many people does Red Rock hold?
Red Rock, located in Las Vegas, is an outdoor amphitheater that typically accommodates around 20,000 people for concerts and events. Exact capacity can vary depending on the setup, so it's best to check the event details for the most accurate information.
Okay, so we can get 80 in there, no problem. Stuart299 says at least 80, yeah. Sociopathogen asks if I've ever played Red Dead Redemption 2. We've never had that one tossed around here. I'm always down to try. And Parasitosis says there's a new one that I should be trying, so I'm going to check that out. Dazzlecat says play the Golden Nugget. Yeah, that would be good. Vegas. Maybe I could get people out to Vegas. Computer, how far is it from Taos, New Mexico to Las Vegas, Nevada?
From Taos, Las Vegas is 700.5 miles away by car.
That's a long way. I didn't think it was going to be that far away. Okay, everybody, we're getting off. We've got work to do. Let's get back to work here. Thanks for those subscriptions, you guys. That puts us right at exactly 310 subscribers. Thank you for that, everybody. That's very kind of you. Okay. Let's... what are we doing? Oh yeah, desert quesadillas. Okay, so we have put our spray on it. Step 2, we're gonna smear 1.5 teaspoons of peanut butter. Okay, let's just leave this off to the side there. That seems like it's getting a little hot there. I've never seen that before, but maybe we'll do something with that. We're gonna smear 1.5 teaspoons of peanut butter onto one side of the tortilla in a thin layer to cover. I'm gonna guesstimate. I've been doing the kitchen a long time. This is probably about 1.5 teaspoons. So they want kind of a thin layer here. That's really interesting because if you look at this, it's all gooey and liquidy here, but for some reason on the top of the peanut butter, or of the lid, like there's just nice peanut butter there. I don't know how that happened. Oh, I think because it was upside down. But why would that be a thing? I don't know. I don't really quite get it. But whatever it is, it's something accidentally smart happened. The Chunks says the cream rises to the top, peanut butter as well, apparently. Computer, does the peanut butter rise to the top?
Peanut butter is dense, so it usually stays at the bottom of a jar. When you shake or stir it, it may mix temporarily, but it will settle back to the bottom.
So peanut butter, you could say, is sort of a bottom dweller, if you will. Okay, peanut butter onto one side. Divide the Flarshmallow Marsh. This is this stuff, Fluffmallow Marsh. And we, oh my God, this isn't gonna be easy. Okay, that doesn't want to come off. So guess what? I have a little trick that my grandmother said that she learned during her time in jail, where you go like this around it with a butter knife, and somehow or another that releases air or something, and then you're able to open it. Anonymous just gifted Bossy Bottom a sub. Thank you very much, Anonymous, for gifting that sub to our new user, Bossy Bottom. And welcome, Bossy Bottom, to the community here. And Beelzebub just gifted a sub. Thank you so much, Beelzebub. Thank you very much for your generosity, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are. And we missed you a lot on this last trip, but we'll see you next time. Angry Penguin says, I find some firecrackers open stubborn jars very well. Yeah, but I didn't want to mess around with explosives. Shardy Fardum Official says, let's make a Fluffernutter Flarf. Well, that's kind of what we're doing. Dandyface 94 says, it's 4 a.m. where I am, and I have a wedding to go to at 10. Why are weddings so unbearably horrible, and how do I avoid such invitations in the future? Yeah, everybody knows that weddings suck. They're only fun for the people that are doing it, and usually it's only one of them that wants it. If there's an open bar, you can self-medicate throughout the whole thing. It's a little bit like getting jury duty, I guess. Beelzebub, thanks again for the gifted sub. But Dandyface, nonetheless, I hope you have a good time. You're just gonna have to next time say that you'll be out of town or whatever you can do. Okay, this is starting to smoke, so I better hurry up. What's my next order of business here? It says divide the marshmallow flarf into equal parts and spread to cover the peanut butter. I don't understand why I wouldn't just put it on the other side. Let me just make sure I'm ready. I'm sorry, everybody's going to have to shut up for just a second because I'm trying to focus on the ingredients or the directions. It's getting a little bit difficult. Divide Flarfmellow Marsh equally between two of the tortillas. Spread to cover the peanut butter. Sprinkle, I'm reading ahead now. Sprinkle the cup of chocolate chips atop and finish by putting the remaining tortillas atop the chocolate chips with peanut butter side down. What the okay, I think I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to put, and this could end up biting me in the ass, but I'm going to just go ahead and go rogue here and put the flush mellow marf on top of the opposing tortilla. It just seems cleaner this way. Like, I don't see how I'd be able to spread it on top of that peanut butter without getting peanut butter all over my knife and therefore into my jar of flarf. Okay, so we have this. And this is really sticky shit right here. Be careful. I'm going to try. That's another thing that my grandmother taught me, is if you take your knife and wipe it off on whatever food you're spreading it on, that's one less dish that you're going to have to worry about cooking or washing. Okay, now let's close these jars. This one's not, it's hard to get it to close right on the right. I think the jar's been compromised. And then this peanut butter, save that for a different time. Computer, is peanut butter okay to flush marshmallow for 15 minutes?
Peanut butter isn't something you should flush down the drain, marshmallows included. It can clog your pipes and cause plumbing issues. Always dispose of food items.
That's not the question I was trying to ask, but in my computer's defense, I kind of screwed up all the...
Well, now I feel corny, because you got me smiling from ear to ear.
What? Oh, boy. She feels corny because she's smiling from ear to ear. I guess that's probably a word joke because of the word ear. An ear of corn. Okay, so we put some unsweetened, mini semi-sweet chocolate chips, baking chips on there, and we're going to take our tortilla here. And now watch what I do here. I've got only a little bit of time to do this because otherwise it's going to sort of fall all over the place and make a big mess. So I'm going to put this tortilla on top of the other one, make sort of a sandwich, but it's not a sandwich, it's a quesadilla. Quesadilla literally translates to cheese Danish. Okay. There it is. And now we're going to cook these until lightly browned and the chocolate chips have melted. Probably about 2 to 3 minutes per side. So remember, when they say 2 to 3 minutes, what are they looking for? They're looking for the number in between. So that would be, you take 3 minus 2 would be 1 minute divided by 2, 30 seconds. Add that to your original lower number, 2 minutes. So it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Computer, set timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, please.
2 minutes and 30 seconds, starting now.
Okay, this is a good time for us to start putting stuff away. Boy, I'm real worried about this thing attracting bugs. And peanut butter. Computer, do roaches like peanut butter?
Roaches might be attracted to peanut butter because they're drawn to food smells, but they don't specifically prefer it. They'll eat almost anything they find, so keeping food sealed is key to avoiding them.
Just as I suspected. Computer, do roaches like marshmallow fluff?
Roaches might be attracted to sweet foods, but they don't specifically like marshmallow fluff any more than other sweets. Keeping food sealed and cleaning regularly helps keep them away.
Oh boy, this marshmallow stuff really is difficult. Let's put this away here. Donnie Wahlberg says you can keep the roaches out by gluing your cabinet door shut. I did not know that. Hopeful Equinox. Henry, will I ever visit Ohio? Boy, oh boy, I love Ohio. Dayton, Ohio was Wiley's Comedy Club. That's the one that I used to do a couple of times a year back in the 2000s. And Cincinnati, Go Bananas. The Funny Bone in Newport, Kentucky, which is basically an Ohio suburb. Columbus, Ohio, Toledo, Connections. I've played all over Ohio. Middleton, Ohio. The problem is they don't want me to come back. Well, I'm not going to say that, but let's just say they haven't been asking me. It's not up to me whether I go back to a town. It's sort of up to them to bring me there. But I'd like to. Computer, stop. Okay, hold that thought, everybody. We need spatula. Let's go ahead and use this one. It's one of my favorite little spatulas. There it is. Just going to do a very simple flip. Computer, set timer for another 2 minutes and 30 seconds, please.
You have no active timers, so I'll start 2 minutes and 30 seconds, starting now.
Oh, had to show me up on that one. Okay. Now we just simply wait. I guess I can put these chips away. Maybe I'll have a couple. You know, chips are pretty good by themselves. Thought I might be able to find a rubber band. Oh, I've got one here. I don't want to spill these things all over the place. Alright, we're getting stuff going here. I'm going to put this spray over here. Computer, how much time left?
You have 1 minute and 20 seconds left on your 2 minute and 30 second timer.
Jerfies says, does computer know what you look like? I would think maybe. Should we ask? Computer, do you know what Henry Phillips looks like?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Well, that's probably a good thing. Computer, have you heard of Henry's Kitchen?
Henry Kitchen Park is a point of interest.
Okay, well, at least that's close. Angry Penguin 922 says keeps everything in the fridge, even chips, so the roaches have no fuel in the cabinets. Smart man. Yep. I had some people asking me recently, why was I keeping potato chips in the fridge? And that's exactly why. The refrigerator is so brilliantly sealed, it would be impossible for a roach to get in there, unless they're already in there, in which case you're fucked. That's the stuff of horror movies. Did anybody see the movie Hail Mary? I just saw it yesterday. I thought it was good. I recommend it. The Last Hail Mary, I think it's called. It's very nice. It's a feel-good movie. Pug Lady saw it. Kitchen Hat liked the book. I didn't read the book, but isn't it the same guy who wrote The Martian and that movie also? Computer, stop. Oh, well, that's it. I think we're done here. Hold on a second. But we opened up a cool conversation here. Donnie Wahlberg says, I am waiting for the new Spellborg movie. The new Spellborg. Steven Spielberg. I slap cat butt says, when I was kid living in hoarding situation, we had roaches in the clock part of the microwave. LOL. Yeah, they definitely like clutter. Fitch and Hat says, yeah, Andy Weir. And so does Glitchy Med. Parasitosis says, I saw Biodome. Isn't that what Hammy X Hams is making in his jars? Beelzeby says, Andy Weir is a really cool dude. Yeah, it sounds like it. And he's putting out good content. Well, I mean, he makes the books, and then they're so good, they make movies out of them. Good on him. We need people making good stuff. There's some pretty bad stuff out there. I'm not going to say which, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and cut this. This is an all-wheat tortilla, by the way, from Whole Foods. So this actually should be healthy. It should have a nice fiber in there. I don't know what noise that is, but it's driving me fucking apeshit. It's just driving me apeshit. Beanie Bobini says, bye, users. Goodbye, Henry. Enjoy your nutter. Hey, thanks, Beanie Bobini, for joining us. Thank you for all that you do. Thanks for being a great intern. Thanks for organizing this apron and getting everybody to sign it and all of that cool stuff. Okay. Do we still have our Canon here? Yeah, okay. Everything seems to be working on a technical level. And I think we're ready. These are literally quesadillas here. And I think that we have made the recipe and it's time for us to eat them. Fluorite is the USB disconnect sound. Fluorite says it's the USB disconnect sound. You can set it to play silence for it and sound control panel. Yeah, but why does it do it is what I'm wondering. Why? Because everything is working, actually. I've got my Stream Deck. I've got my camera. It's Kate X says, can we set it to big fart sound? Yeah, that's what we should do. I'm totally down with that. Let's get Quanto to do that for us. We have a very specific request for Quanto. Angry Penguin, you have a Steam Deck? Nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was actually the moment when I realized that I actually am doing this for real. Fluorite says probably a low quality USB port or USB hub causing it. Yeah, maybe that's it. There was a theory about maybe that the infrared stove was causing electrical interference or draining the power too much from the USB hub, which is plugged in also. It does seem to have subsided. Donnie Wahlberg says it could be the Chinese government as well. When you say as well,
Delicious.
You mean it's those other things plus the Chinese government? Hey, Megalyn. Megalyn has just raided us. Let's take a look here. Megalyn, Megolin, just came in with 21 raiders. Thank you very much for sharing your audience with us, Megalyn. And Parasitosis, one of our mods here, says, howdy, raiders. Welcome. Oh, our old friend Husky Boyo has subscribed for 43 months. It says here, Husky Boyo says, hey, man, hope you're doing well. Walsh mentioned you had a story about Dat Fan taking credit for Dangerfield's applause. Yeah. That's on Brendan Walsh's podcast called The Bone Zone. You can find it on there. That was many years ago, probably 15 years ago. It's very funny. Hopeful Equinox says, oh my God, Henry is famous. No, I'm not famous by any means. Watch. Computer, do you know who Henry Phillips is?
According to Wikipedia, Henry Phillips is an American comedy musician and actor.
Maybe.
He co-wrote and starred in Punching the Clown and its sequel Punching Henry.
Okay, computer, stop. See, now that made me look like I was just doing that to feed my ego or something. I was actually trying to do the opposite, but I got kind of sandbagged or whatever the word is. Old Pine app says famous. All right, so if you're just joining us for the Raiders, Megalyn and the 21 Raiders, I want to tell you what's going on right now. We made this quesadilla. It's called a desert quesadilla. It's got sweet stuff in it. Chocolate chips, Flarfmellow Marsh, as well as peanut butter, and a wheat tortilla situation. And if you want to see what it's supposed to look like, but they obviously use AI for these pictures because I don't think anybody would have the chocolate chips just perfectly poking out like that with the Fluffmellow Marsh or whatever. So ours is probably about as good as you're gonna get. And I'd say they're definitely smelling good. We can't figure out why they call them desert quesadillas. Maybe you eat them in the desert. Rosedower007 has subscribed at the tier 1 level. Thank you, Rosedower. Iron Pirate Tubby says, hey, Henry, I think you might have what it takes to defeat Bowser and K-Mac in a 2v1. Well, Iron Pirate Tubby, I don't understand any of that, but if you say I have what it takes, then I'm down for the challenge. I always like to say, I never give up unless something gets too difficult. Donnie Wahlberg says, you have to be famous. There's no way computer would find a wiki page for me. Well, just give it time. Everybody will eventually be known by computer, and it's not going to be a good thing. Liberdarius says that's why he doesn't play Red Rocks. Yeah, Red Rocks is... that was a response to somebody. To Angry Penguin. Henry is an E-list celebrity by choice. He doesn't want to be recognized on the streets. Yeah. That wasn't so much the case when I was younger, but as I get older, yeah. I mean, I was at the airport and the TSA guy didn't recognize me per se from Henry's Kitchen, but he did take a look at one of my cookbooks and said that it looked like trash. It's not the same as getting recognized. Stuart2199 says it's probably because there's no food in the desert, so they only have sweet things. Oh, okay. I think that's actually a song by America, the band. The lyrics are all kind of nonsense anyway. Thanks again, Rosedower007. Okay, speaking of 007, we did a nice rendition of a wannabe 007 song today, but it didn't make the cut. Let's see if this is any good. I'm going to show you the profile view here. Okay. Now theirs is a lot thicker. I will say that. I don't know. I mean, we did exactly the right amount. I don't know why that's doing that. You know what? Why don't we just, before I eat this, because it's still a little bit hot, we have about 300 viewers, which is amazing. I want to announce one, Jose Suicidio, the artist who does the music for the Henry's Kitchen YouTube series, is coming out with a new album, a second album called There's Something Wrong With Me. And it's not going to make a lot of money because the bottom dropped out of the royalty business in music, except in the area of major motion pictures. And Jose Suicidio's song Rovin' in the Bog was featured in a recent movie that won 2 Academy Awards the other night, the movie Sinners. And this is actually an excerpt from that I just took off my TV set. But this is Rovin' in the Bog.
Shave my belly with a rusty knife when I wake up in the morning. A bottle of rum and a fancy jig, and the road rise up to meet you. Just put another shrimp on the barbie friend, and I'll be there to greet you. Row, ho, till I fancy free on the bonny bog. Whack all day in the valley, oh, and I go home in the morning. Row, ho, silly do, a misty, musty morning friend, steering about with a drunken whore, and I go home in the morning. Rolling on down
It's a happy
the
scene.
green with a bottle of Tullamore Dew, ya. Galloping far and wide and shouting, top with the morning to ya. Row, ho, till I whack the foal with a daddy-o, and a shin in a bucket with a drunken whore, and I go home in the morning. Row, ho, till I misty Mountain Dew, my friend, shave my willy with a rusty knife, and I wake up in the morning.
So yeah, as you can see, that's a very festive scene where they're all enjoying the outdoors and doing a nice little jig, an Irish jig, if you will. And it was very fun to hear Jose's music in that. Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and eat this food, and I'm going to tell you what it tastes like. I know people make bets. I don't want to screw people over one way or the other with these bets, but I'm going to tell you my honest opinion of this dish. The Desert Quesadillas, which was from freshandeasymoms.com. Okay, here we go. You know what, guys? I'm going to call this pretty good. I'm not going to say it's fucking delicious. Maybe because it could use a little more. I mean, the wheat tortilla is not making it as delicious as it could be, but it's probably healthy. But it doesn't suck. It's not bad. I wouldn't even say it's mediocre. I would say this is a nice little afternoon snack, maybe with your coffee. Jack Dostal, I don't think it was bug spray. I think it just looked like bug spray, and maybe it was a little more pungent than I thought. But here's something that a lot of people don't know. Any spray is bug spray. They try to sell you Raid or, flying insect spray or roach spray. It's like, oh, I better not use the flying insect one on the roach because the roach won't die. You could spray hairspray at a roach, and if you spray enough at it, it's going to shrivel up and die. You could spray potpourri type, any spray that you can think of. Hairspray, yeah. Or what about, one of these cooking oil sprays? Pam. That's going to kill a bug too. The bugs don't like to be sprayed by anything, is what I'm saying. So whatever spray you have, that's a bug spray. Old Pineapple says bear spray. Yeah. You're telling me bear spray isn't going to kill a roach? Get out of here. Link Banan says pepper spray to make it more spicy. Yeah, you're telling me a roach wouldn't die if you just sprayed pepper spray at him? But I will not say vice versa. You can't use roach spray. You probably could use it as hairspray because it'll still have that same sticky quality. But I don't think you can spray it on your food, even if it's the part that doesn't harm children or pets, even if it's that kind. Lacey T says, just not glitter spray. They'll feel so fabulous, they'll never leave. Yeah, I don't know if glitter spray would work, but I'd have to check that before I go too far with my theory. Glitchy Med, you're absolutely right. Henry's Kitchen does not endorse the consumption of bug spray. I want to make it very clear. A lot of people are saying a lot of dumb shit on the internet and getting in trouble for it. I do not endorse bug spray for consumption. All right, well, this is really good. I'm going to go ahead and do my thank you song for you to show my appreciation to you. And just to thank you in general. This is a way to thank the moderators, the folks that run the Discord, the Tier 3 subscribers, the technical advisors, the, what would you say, the famous influencers who've shared their audience with us. And I also want to thank Megalyn for sharing their audience with us today. That was very kind of you, very generous. So why don't we do it to the tune of that anthem that was written about the end of the Cold War, probably written by the CIA. Let's be real. And it was by Jesus Jones. During the early 90s, it was the kind of song that just said, you know what? We're going to start a whole new fucking decade here of decadence. It was a decade of decadence. You know, we were all going to bars. We were listening to grunge artists complain about basically just nothing because everything was good. The president was having sex with his intern, and it was just like a time that won't be forgotten. And then, of course, in 2000, the fit hit the shan. I mean, the shan hit the fit. The fan hit the shit. What's the expression? Computer, what's the expression I'm trying to think of?
From Cambridge.org. Round the bend is a colorful expression meaning crazy.
Yeah, so things got round the bend. Angry Penguin, how do we know that cockroaches haven't taken over Henry's brain already and are currently using the kitchen as their home base to take over the world and begin their conquest? I'm not sure if there's any way to really say that that's not happening. Remember, that's the problem with conspiracy theories. They're very difficult to prove that they're not true, and that's what people thrive on. Official Shitter says, gotta go shopping. Good stream. Bye, Henry. Bye, users. Thanks, Official Shitter, for your contribution to today. And here we go. And thanks again, Megalyn, for sharing your audience with us. We're going to close with this song from Jesus Jones, Right Here, Right Now. But instead of the lyrics that were written by the CIA, we're going to actually do the thank yous to all the folks. Here we go. Flockin' and Dingle Bob, Dom Beef, Hot Bear, 1110, Do Dingle, Dog Goggle, Dr. Flanges, Bacchus, Shane, yes, Beelzebub, Mochi's Nirvana, it's Cade, Kairos, a Bumble Vision, and the LGX, Chef Reactions, Husky Boyle, Bill Arkin, Music, The Toily, and Nim, Moon, Amaru, Orca Mind, Espen, Bonnie 2, Dazzle, Kapler, Little Quest, Borson, Vanilla, Parasitosis, don't forget Quanto, and our intern, Beanie Boney, Lacey T, Purple Donut, filling his fruit tankard in Borson, Zodiac Tone, Gary Busey, ASMR, Alert Bull, Shandis, Nova Glarian, Mr. Gooseberry VT, These Nuts, Game Master, Flash, Mimsy Cook, the Cat Food Taste Tester, the Cheering X, Mochi's Nirvana, Red Hot Hibachi, Ransom, GRS, Elitis, and Michelle Heffy. Dazzle, Cat's Odd, Bane, Toke My Nuts, Saguaro, Uberito 5555. Got something stuck in my throat. Dinosaur, JV's Text, Sickly Boy, Beelzebub, Headlips 1 in Caitlin's Kitchen, Embry 225, Yarchasm, Nico Taso, Michael Bublé 4422, Potato Cap Raider, Passion, Error, Min Ocean 64, Midnight Faded, JSBX Fan, Quesadillas, Pool Boy 789, and don't forget Megalyn and Quanto. Thank you, Maui Girl. That's very nice of you to say. And Angry Penguin says that was the cockroaches in his brain making him cough. That happens sometimes. Husky Boyo says, whatever happened to everyone type Forsen? Yeah, that's a good question. We've had people come and go, but we did get to see the elusive Borsenvin last week, living his best life and celebrating his birthday, probably on a boat somewhere, and that was pretty awesome to get a visit. Nymph Mystical says nice, and Koromochi says Forsen. All right, everybody. It's time to say goodbye. I feel very blessed to have gotten a raid today, and I haven't done a raid in a long time. I think we stopped doing it for whatever reason. I don't know. It just kind of felt like we weren't really helping anybody. And Licorice Liquor says, my God, it's Hen Lips. Yeah, it is me. But I'm going to go ahead and do a raid right now. I'm just going to see who's out there streaming at the moment. And I'll try the people that I'm following here first. Who should we jump in on, you guys? It's Kate X says, would you like to mention the anniversary date? Yes, that is, let me make sure I have that. Is that May 3rd? Oh, thank you. I also had another thing that I wanted to shout out to everybody. My buddy Brian Daniels and Raven, we did a podcast recently, and that is finally out and available. We're gonna announce that on the Discord. I'm not ready with a link, but I'll be plugging it. But I did his podcast not too long ago. It's called the Next Level Podcast, and you can probably search my name on that, and it should come up. And is it May 3rd? Is that when we're doing the anniversary? Okay, we're gonna be doing an anniversary. So anyway, a lot of excitement going on, and what do we got here? Ice Cream Posse. Oh, here we go. Happy Wayfarer. Let's jump in on Happy Wayfarer, who's only got 19 viewers at the moment. He's making homemade pita pockets, so that's pretty cool. And it's Kate X. Did I get that right? The Henry's Kitchen stream-iversary is going to be happening May 3rd. And also check out the Next Level Podcast with Brian Daniels. It used to be called the Domain. I'm having a brain fart situation. It's Kate X says there will be some announcements on Discord very soon and how people can get involved. Starting off with the Golden Henry Awards right after the stream. It's always a lot of fun. Big fan of Jeff Goldblum says, you guys need to back off. 3 people is mathematically too much for this. Is that, that's a response to May 3rd. Dulachila says, putting this in my agenda immediately. Yeah. All right, everybody. We're going to jump in on the Happy Wayfarer, who is a guy making what appears to be some cool looking food. Homemade pita pockets and chickpeas. I don't know if they're any match. They don't look sweet like our desert quesadillas, which I'm going to have more of, by the way. I might brew another coffee and have more of these. These are great. Just go to freshandeasymoms.com. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and do this raid now. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here on Henry's Kitchen today. And thanks again, Megalyn, for the cool raid. And hope to see everybody Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. Here we go. Say hi to the Happy Wayfarer for me. How does this work? Ready to raid in 2, 1, and boom.